Hey everybody, it's the Drone Kid 92 here, bringing you vlog number 2 in regards to my new PC and what all I'm doing with that. So these are videos in lieu of normal uploads because, as I explained in the last video, my old PC went kaput. I had to format the hard drive and lost all my data, so I don't have a working PC right now. I do have all of my important stuff backed up already. So that's not an issue. It's just a matter of getting a couple of parts that I need still for my new PC before I can get it up and running and get some more content to you guys. But today I'm going to be talking about the parts that I have for it, and I'm going to show you guys the case and all that stuff. The beautiful, beautiful case. It is magnificent. It's majestic and gigantic. But I'm going to make a little breakdown of all the parts I got for it. So bear with me while I switch camera stuff, if it'll let me. Okay, it doesn't let me switch once I've started recording. Lovely. Alright, so here's my new case. It is the NZXT Phantom, and it is gigantomongous. Let's try and not have it tilted. There we go. Sorry, I'm having to hold this at a really weird angle because of not being able to switch it around. But these are for all the media expansion bays right here. It's got a nice little magnetic, not a lock, but a securing mechanism. And then up top, we've got 2 rows of things. We've got our USB 3.0, and SATA. For certain external hard drives, SATA is a faster data transfer. Then over on the right side here, we've got all my fan sliders, my fan controls, which is really nice. And then back behind this plug here, I've got the audio and mic jacks, the front audio and mic jacks. What I have up on top here is the disk drive I'll be using for now. It's just a USB disk drive. It's really nice. It runs Blu-ray and dual layer discs and stuff. But I might be stealing the disk drive from my old PC, which is down there, stuffed in a corner. I might be stealing that disk drive and installing it in this puppy. But taking a look at the inside, let's see what kind of view I can get you guys. There we go. Right here, the motherboard. Big old fat motherboard that is absolutely gigantic. This motherboard is the Asus P9X79 LE motherboard. Now, what does all that mean? I don't know. It is it's an LGA 2011. Which means the 2011, it has to do with the processor, the number of pins. So it has to do with the type of CPU that you get. It determines the number of pins that it has to mesh with the motherboard. I believe it's the 2nd generation Intel is what it's compatible with. It's AMD Crossfire ready, and NVIDIA SLI ready as well. The Crossfire is essentially like running 2 graphics cards without having 2 graphics cards. You just have to have the graphics card you do have has to be Crossfire ready, which I don't think mine is. It might be. I'll have to look into it some more. But SLI is when you have actually 2 graphics cards and you run them in junction with each other to have more powerful, some more gumption, more get up. It has 8 RAM slots, which is super crazy. And the RAM I ordered that I'm waiting on right now is the Kingston HyperX. It's the Blue Red series. I ordered 2 8GB sticks, so I'll have a total of 16 to start out. And next time I upgrade, I'll probably buy another 2 8GB, so I'll wind up with 32 total gigs. And if I want, I can get 6 more of them if I want. I mean, they're $80 a piece, so I probably won't ever do that. But I could have 8 RAM cards installed at one time with this machine. Down here I got my Thunder V2 735 watt power supply, fully modular. Get a better look at that if I can. Yep, fully modular, so I can just kind of add the plugs to it as I need to, so there isn't a mess of stuff all the time. Get you a little view of the table down here, and at 12 volts it hits 53 amps, which is really nice. It has a high amperage for the different volts outputs, which is real nice. And then the graphics card I've got right here, this lovely, lovely lady, is a Gigabyte GeForce GTX 650. It's lower, higher end. My old card in my old machine was an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 460 SE. So the 650 is a little bit nicer. My old card only had 1 gig dedicated VidRAM. This has 2. It's a little bit nicer. I've got her all plugged in and stuff. She has 2 DVI outputs and an HDMI, not a micro HDMI, like a full-size HDMI output, and then VGA as well. So those 2 DVIs are really nice, because DVI is what I use on my monitor right there. So if I wanted to get another monitor, I'd probably use another DVI. But also having the option for the HDMI is nice. Now the CPU I've got in here, I already have it installed. CPU is the Intel Core i7, the 3820. It is also an LGA 2011. Like I said, the pins have to match in order for it to be compatible. It's 2nd generation Intel, which is what my motherboard was built to work with. It's really nice and really expensive. If it's like $300, if that gives you any indication. Then my hard drive I have installed in the first slot right here. If I can get a good view of that. Okay, cool. It's just a whatever. It's a 2 terabyte Toshiba, blah, 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 standard stuff, 3.5 inch. It's SATA drive, 7200 RPM, 64 meg cache. It's pretty standard stuff. And yeah, that's what I have so far. And then my heatsink I ordered for my CPU, because you can't just have a CPU. It needs something to pull the heat off of it. So you get what's called a heat sink or some sort of a cooling system for it. And the heat sink is actually just placed on top of the CPU. That's why on most motherboards you'll see like that kind of radiator looking thing on the middle of it. That's your heat sink, and that's what pulls heat off of the CPU. So you put like a little layer of CPU jelly on it, put the heat sink on top, which is what these holes are for. You screw the heat sink in, and the jelly acts as sort of like a super heat conductive medium that transfers the heat from that the CPU generates, puts it into the heatsink, and the heatsink dissipates it, and then all the fans take care of it. So right now, fan-wise, I've got a fan here, a huge Mondo fan up top, which is really nice. It's got a nice vented top. And then also, sorry, my hand's shaking a little bit, I apologize. I need to eat. I haven't eaten today. When this panel goes in, I'll go ahead and pull that out over here. Boom. If I can show you guys that, I have no idea what kind of angle I'm giving you. There you go, I can see in my monitor. It's got 2 fans on it and then a huge vent on it as well. And then the other side that I have pulled off, see if I can get a little bit of a view of the other side. It's the cable management, which is so freaking nice. I mean, if you don't have it, I feel bad for you. Like, having this extra cable management system, it just makes the inside of the case look so freaking nice. And it eliminates a lot of the clutter and areas where dust can collect. So, I mean, it just makes your PC less needy. Like, you don't have to clean it out as much. Here's this kind of... No, okay, it's good. It means you don't have to dust it out and clean it as much, because stuff doesn't accumulate as badly if it's less cluttered. Plus, it's better for cooling, because the less clutter in there, the better the air can, travel throughout, and the happier everyone's going to be. Now, it does have this front vent right here. You can put a fan in there, and then there's another slot for a fan somewhere. I can't remember where. I think there is one more, but yeah, that's my case so far. We've got a 2 terabyte hard drive, the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 650 graphics card, an Asus, it's an LGA 2011 motherboard, and then the Intel i7 processor, which is super nice, super expensive, 735 watt power supply. I'll have 2 8 gig HyperX Kingston RAM cards, so I'll have 16 gigs of RAM, and I will have... the heatsink I got is a Dynatron R15. It's full copper, low profile, so it'll stick out. I think it's like 27 millimeters high, so it's pretty short. So it's not necessarily as effective as like a larger heatsink would be, but I don't need it as much for this machine because it's so open and the venting and the fan system is so kind of elaborate and robust. So that's my PC. Boom. I do have a plan. The reason, because red's my favorite color, so yay, I got a red case. But the reason I wanted to get a red case is because I'm really into the Imperial Guards from Star Wars. They're like my favorite Star Wars characters. Here, I'll just set this down. Apologize for my thumb in your face. They're my favorite character in Star Wars, the Imperial Guards. Those of you who don't know, they're the red armored stormtroopers that are always accompanying the Emperor and guarding his chambers and stuff. In fact, there's one right behind me, right at the top of my thumb, right there, in the picture in the background. But I drew up a stencil in Photoshop. Move center frame. There we go. Looks better. I drew up a stencil in Photoshop, and I want to put that on the front of the case, and I want to put the Imperial insignia on the side where the cable management is. I want to spray paint those on. So once I can figure out a good way to get that Imperial Guard stencil on the front, I'll see if I can make that happen. It's a matter of making the stencil so that it's all one piece. So when you put it on, you can then spray paint it, and it all is one cohesive piece. The spray paint goes where you want it to go. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge, just trying to figure out how I can get it all in one piece and then cutting it out precisely enough. That'll be later down the road. I just want to get this thing up and running first and get you guys some more content. But this video is running a little bit longer than I wanted it to. If you guys have any more questions about my system, ask. I may or may not know the answer. This is the first time I've built a PC on my own, so hopefully I'm doing my research right. I looked into it a lot, and from what I can tell, nothing conflicts with anything, and everything works together, even though they're different brands. I know it's not necessarily a great idea to go pretty much a different brand for everything. I've got an Intel processor, Toshiba hard drive, a Thunder, whatever, power supply, Gigabyte graphics card, Asus motherboard, Kingston, RAM, and Dynatron heatsink. So I've got, like, everything's different, but they're all really good parts, and if they work together, hooray. If not, we got a problem. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next video. Hopefully that'll happen on Monday when I have my components and I'm putting it together. Yeah. Cool beans. I'll be uploading episode 6 of Planet Toys tomorrow on Saturday, so you guys will get that. And yeah, awesome possum. I'll see you guys in that video. Bada boom, bada bang.